What can the structure of a piece of wood tell us about what kind of wood it is? I'm Frank Owens from the Wood Identification Team at Mississippi State University. In this series of online videos, we'll teach you how to identify North American woods the scientific way, with a small magnifying glass called a hand lens. When someone performs a scientific identification, what does that mean? Scientific identification relies on the recognition of anatomical features in wood. That's right. Just like humans and animals, wood has anatomy, and that anatomy differs from wood to wood. Just as we can tell a lion from an elephant by considering differences between their anatomical features, such as noses, legs, skin, and teeth, we can differentiate among wood varieties by looking at their anatomy. Today we're going to start with the most basic anatomical characteristics of all woods: heartwood and sapwood, earlywood and latewood, and rays. We'll also consider how some features can look drastically different depending on which surface or plane of the wood we're looking at. Let's start with heartwood and sapwood. Trees have two main regions of wood. The heartwood is closest to the center of the log. The sapwood surrounds the heartwood and is nearest the bark. In many, but not all species, the heartwood is darker than the sapwood. This is due to the presence of natural compounds called extractives, which give many woods their beautiful color and distinctive odor. Next, let's think about growth rings. In this picture, can you see what looks like concentric circles? These are called growth rings or annual rings. When you were a kid, maybe you tried to estimate the age of a tree by counting the rings on a stump. You can actually do this because each of those rings represents 1 year of growth and girth for the tree. A growth ring has two parts: the earlywood, which grows in the first part of the growing season, and the latewood, which grows in the last. One band of earlywood plus its adjacent band of latewood equals one growth ring. Earlywood and latewood look different in hardwoods like oaks and softwoods like pines. In the picture on the left of red oak, a hardwood, you can see a difference in the size of the pores. The pores in the earlywood region are very large, while the pores in the latewood are much smaller. We'll talk more about hardwood pores in future videos. In the picture on the right of California redwood, a softwood, you can see the difference in color between the lighter earlywood and the darker latewood. The darkness of the latewood is caused by thicker cell walls in that region, but that too we can discuss in future videos. Because there is more wood and less empty space in the latewood region, latewood is typically denser than earlywood in many species. The final feature we'll cover today is rays. Rays are ribbon-like structures for storing and moving nutrients around horizontally in the tree. In addition to growth rings, rays often give us important clues we can use to identify woods. Before we conclude this video, we'll look at something a bit more advanced: the three principal planes or surfaces in wood. Knowing your planes is very important for wood identification because the same feature can look drastically different from plane to plane. The easiest plane to find is the transverse, also called the cross-sectional plane. This is the surface you would see if you stood above a stump and looked down at the rings, or the surface you would see on each end of a piece of lumber. This plane is where we can find most of the anatomical information we need to identify wood specimens. Next is the radial plane. You could make a radial plane if you cut a log vertically through its very center parallel to the rays. This is the surface you would see on the face of most quarter-sawn lumber. The third plane we call tangential. It is parallel to, or more accurately, tangential to the growth rings. This is the surface you would see on most flat-sawn pieces of lumber. To see how the same feature can look different from plane to plane, let's return to our image of rays for an example. Rays are like ribbons standing on their edges. They are vertically tall, horizontally flat, and very long. If we look at a ray from the top on the transverse plane, it looks like a narrow line. But if we view it from the side in the radial plane, it looks like a long horizontal rectangle or strip. And if we view it on the tangential plane, we can see only the end of the ray, which looks like a very short vertical line. Keep in mind, despite how different it looks from plane to plane, it's all still the same ray. Let's stop here for now. We'll talk more about wood anatomy after we learn how to view our specimens with a hand lens and prepare the transverse surface with a utility knife. If you're interested in learning how to identify wood the scientific way, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be rolling out new videos over the next several weeks. In the meantime, if you have a wood specimen you want scientifically identified, or in-person or online training for yourself or your company, please send me an email at frank.owens@msstate.edu. This video has been brought to you by Mississippi State University Extension, taking care of what matters.